So we're going to start by adding in a cylinder and moving it up just a little bit. We're going to select the bottom face and scale it outwards, and then delete the bottom face, and then we're going to set the origin to the 3D cursor and apply a mirror modifier and set the axis to Z. I'm going to add in a loop cut here and bevel it. This is going to be how we're going to add in the brackets. I'm going to select these edge loops and extrude. There we go. I'm going to take this top face and insert a face and then extrude downwards just to create the lip. To create the cork, I'm inserting another face. I'm going to extrude upwards. And now we're going to add in the materials. I'm just going to get a nice brown here. Just make it nice and light and throw up the roughness a bit. And then to add in the metal, just get a grey and move the metallic slider all the way up and select the brackets. And there we go, that's it for the materials. I'm trying to bevel there, but I forget to apply the mirror modifier, and unfortunately I'm out of time. I also realised the cork there on the bottom, but we'll fix that later. Okay, so now for the 10-minute barrel, we're going to add a cube this time. I'm going to delete every face but one and apply an array modifier. Just before that, though, we're going to scale on the Y. And we're going to be setting it to a circle. I'm going to put up the count to about 16. And then there we go. We're going to add in a solidify modifier and then a bevel. Oh, and a bevel modifier there. I'm going to just change the offset to 0. It's just, I prefer it that way. Get the segments up on the bevel and then solidify a little bit more. And then I'm going to stretch it out just so it's a little bit longer. I'm going to add in a loop cut here to create the bend in the wood. I'm going to bevel there just to make it a bit smoother. Now I'm going to select the middle and I'm going to use the proportional editor to scale it in the middle there, just so there's no gaps in the barrel. And there we go. Now I'm going to be rotating it on its side because I want to try have it sideways and put it on a stand. But before that, we're going to put the lid. So I'm going to have to take a circle here, fill the circle, and then position it correctly. We're adding a mirror modifier here just so we can get both sides. And just getting it nice where I want. And then to create the brackets, I'm using another circle, which I'll apply a skin modifier to in just a second. There we go, moving it along where we want it to be. And now the skin modifier. And there we go, I'm just going to scale it downwards a little bit there. I did think about adding in a subsurface subdivider, but I think a bevel works a little bit better here, as we can scale it outwards like so, and it just looks a bit nice and flatter. And there we go, I'm happy with that. Out there. Right, so now I'm going to get the mirror modifier just to get it on the other side, and then duplicate it just so we can have another set. And there we go. Okay, so now I want to be adding in the stand. So there we are. I'm scaling it up a little bit so it fits nicely. It's about right. Just putting it just between those brackets there. I'm going to subdivide here. I did think about using a Boolean tool, but I wasn't too confident at the time it would work how I'd wanted. So I'm just going to do it manually here. And there we go, just moving it up. Just checking it lines up nicely. And about there is where we're wanting it. Just trying to get in these gaps to select those edges. And that looks about right. Just pull up this middle one a little bit more. And there we go. We're going to now just pull these side parts down together just to create a bit more of an interesting shape. Now I'd want it to just have a bit more like of a leggy kind of look there, so I'm pulling up this section and I want to bevel all these corners just to make it look a bit more smoothed out. And there we go. Now I'm just going to auto smooth. There we go. I did want to add a bevel in here, but due to the bevels I'd done on before, it was having some weird topology, so I went in and did it manually myself. And I'm just applying all transforms there, so it looks a bit better. I did notice there that's where the problems were arising, so I tried to negate it as much as possible. And then going back with the mirror modifier to get it on the other side quickly. And there we go. Just checking the shape now. I apply all of these so I can get the UV. I just Q project here because I think it should be just okay enough. And there we go. Smart UV in here. I did think about it, but I was worried about how it would kind of wrap around the object. So I go in here and do the seams myself. On this back edge it was being a bit funny, so I have to select all of it manually again. This again will be probably the topology being a bit strange, which will fix it up, hopefully. There we go, doing those UVs. Let's get the wood here. We're going to go with a simple wood texture, just getting a noise and plugging it into the base color. Oh, actually, we're going to put the noise here first, and then there we go, put the base color in. And then adding in that color ramp. And then just get a nice brown, bit of a lighter brown as well, just getting, there we are. And then I'm just going to Control T to add in the mapping node, and then plug the UV into the vector there. Just mess with the scaling a bit just so until I'm happy with it. Drag these so there's a bit more contrast between the two. Just again messing around with the scale until I'm happy. I think that, yeah, I think that'll be okay. So there we go. I'm going to apply that material onto the other wooden parts of the model. And just going to copy, oh, struggling to move them over there. Putting the color ramp down and then plugging it into the roughness. And there we go. I was struggling here because I couldn't quite remember how to do the, which way around the color ramp should go. So I will just have to go check my notes in a little bit. There we are, plugging it into the normal as well. This is where you can tell I was having a bit of problem with remembering how things went. If you notice the problem, leave a comment. I'll tell you in just a moment. I was so confused with why it wasn't working, and it was such a small, simple mistake. I was changing the scales, like wondering like, why isn't the bump working? And you'll see in just a moment what I've forgotten. And what is it? The roughness? Is it something to do there? I eventually checked my notes quickly, and I realised it. Think, oh no, hang on, it's maybe the values, and it's like still no, it's not quite right. Still wondering. Oh, it's an embarrassing amount of time how long this took me, but it's fine. I think I'm noticing just a second that there it is. It's the normal. I meant to plug it into the height there, and now it's working. So I just need to readjust the amount there until I'm happy. Just drag that up a little bit, and there we go. Now on for the metal. Oh, so before we need to do metal, just changing the wood texture a little bit there. This again, just having a little bit of an experiment with the bump, and here we are onto the metal. Pulling all that metallic value all the way up. Selecting and then smoothing. Now I was wondering why the smooth wasn't working here for a second, and then I realized I forgot to apply the modifiers, so we're going to go ahead and do that. And there we go. Now it should say be nice and smooth. And then there's your noise texture getting plugged in. Now the plan is just to move this out a little bit, get the color ramp in there. Not quite sure why the text went grey here. It wouldn't let me select the color ramp, so I have to actually retype it. And there we go. I'm just setting a bit more of a grey, dragging it downwards, and I Control T again. And plug the UV, the object into the vector, because I realize I haven't done the UVs. I'm not quite happy with them, so I have to go in quickly and mark the seams on the brackets. I was trying to get the underside here through the model, but it wasn't quite behaving as I wanted it to. So I'm going to have to hide all the other objects here just to get that loop cut. And there we go, mark that seam. and just have to unwrap angle based, and same on that as well, and there we go. Again, just I want to get a really nice similar effect, but really minute here. I think it was around this point I was quite happy with the model, but I'd just forgotten about the cork. I'm going to put that on its side and go there, drag it outwards, and then push it back in a little bit and scale up one side so it actually looks a bit more like corkish, and then add the material to it. And just to give, again, a little bit more contrast on the cork to the actual barrel, I duplicate the material and darken the wood of the cork. Not quite happy with that. I tried to get it all the way up, but I'm still not super happy, so I just dropped the overall colour and shade smooth. And I'm just having a look at the model here to see if there's anything obvious I missed. And there is actually, I don't think I realised when I was modelling it, but the face of the cork is a bit stretched. But we'll go fix that in just a moment. Okay, so we're going to go in with the 1 minute barrel now, and we're just going to look at changing the material on this cork here. Made it adding in some bevels around these areas just to smooth up the shape a bit, along with this midsection here, and then also removing this cork here. Okay, starting off with what's probably easiest is this cork. What we're going to do is we're going to take this material and we're going to make a new one, and then a sign, and then we're going to drop this here, we darken it a bit. You can either go for a black or a lighter one. I think I'll just go for a fully dark. Yeah, like so. Put the roughness up there just to have it as a bit more of a different material, and then just add in a bevel. Oh, not by distance, but at center. There you are. That's the oh, actually no. What we're going to do is we're going to highlight all these edges. I'm going to scale it outwards just a little bit to like give it like a kind of cork feel, so it's actually plugging something up. And then we're going to go onto these parts here. We're just going to give it a single bevel, like so. And there we are. We're going to do the same on this top side here. Just, I might put two, yeah, like there, just to have it a bit more rounded. Whereas the metal, I feel like, would be a little more of a harsher edge. Now, to tidy up this middle part, we're going to apply the mirror modifier. We're going to come in here and delete this inside face. Go in X and then faces, and there we go. And then again, Control B. Just do this like that. Now, just to get rid of this, nice and easily, we're just going to select all these edges here. Select all these edges here, and dissolve edge, and then insert a face, and then merge at center. And then there you go. There's your barrel. That's your 1 minute. Nice and done there. Okay, so now probably the most time-consuming fix here, we're going to go in here, and we're going to turn on the X-ray mode, and we're going to delete half of it, and we're going to make a loop cut down the middle, and then delete this half here, because this side has been beveled, whereas this one hasn't, so it'll be a little bit easier to fix. And we're going to delete the face here, and then we're going to take these two verts, and we're going to do cursor to selected, and then origin to 3D cursor, and then we're going to untick the cube, and we're going to go to X and Y and untick the Z axis, and then here we go. We can come back in here. I'm going to take off the X, and we're going to dissolve all these edges here, and that one there, and then dissolve. And then all we've got to do now is we take this edge here and this edge here, and we're going to bevel like this. This just makes it so it goes all the way through the model, and it's a bit of a nicer topology to deal with. These parts here, these are we're going to delete this face, and we're going to grid fill. Oh, okay, so this happens when we haven't got an even amount of sides. I think it's actually just this one here, and then grid fill. Yep, there we go. We're having a little bit of weird edging here, where this face is taking a really, really long path. So what I might do is just take some here, just try and line them up a little bit better. And I might even add in one more edge just to help it out on either side. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. It makes the most sense. So we're going to get rid of that one. And then we're going to delete this face again. I'm going to hit here. Grid fill. Oh, actually, no, we're not going to grid fill, so it won't work. It's the edge count. Now you've got these two. So I just need to actually move it along a little bit more. And then we're going to add in one more loop cut. And now we can grid fill on here. And it'll look nice and tighter. And there you go. That's that set up. So now if we apply all, oh, actually, sorry, if we apply all transforms, might just have to make this go back to the center again on the origin. There we go. And we're just going to bevel either of these sides. Oh, we're having some weird topology here because of this, right? Okay, let's see how we can fix this. When I come in, oh, it's because, there we go, for that. But there it's selecting all of them. And even when we come in, it's having this weird effect here. Right, just do this. How weird are we looking? Not looking too bad. All I'm thinking of doing here, having this shape attach here, and having it fit this way. I think that should fix most of the problem. Just have these bits come up a little bit and out again. And I think that should be good enough. Yeah. We're just going to have to probably take away this edge though. And clear the seam. And then if we UV unwrap. Oh, after applying, of course. Yeah, there we go. That looks much better and it's a much cleaner topology to deal with. And all we've got to do is unhide everything else. And then apply one more mirror modifier. Oh, on the Z this time. And there we go. And that's how you do your 10-minute barrel cleanup.